Right, so we're going to do a bit of sound check now, which is a bit annoying. I know, poor eardrums. And then we're going to tell some stories. So we've been dancing, and we might dance a lot more later. And there's some great acts. And I have to say, I'm full of gratitude and appreciation for all the work that's been on this landscape, and for those joining me on stage today. So we've got Kiru, who was playing beautifully earlier. I landed in here just to hear the melodies of Kiru and his band. Beautiful stuff. And then Queeveen just lifted it off, and everyone had a great dance. So I think together they're Kirun. No, wait. Kireen. So I'm joined on stage by Kireen. Kirween. Will we get a level tune, lads? Yeah. So. Forgive any awkward shouts, you know. You can dance for a sound check. Go on, ain't be a legend. Keep her lit. This is the land that we're going to embrace. This land has embraced us, and we're going to give a bit of a story with music and with melody. And if you don't know me, my name's Aaron, and I'm one half of what you might call Candelit Tales. It's the thing I started with my sister. Sorcha is her name. And the opposite of Squealige is Duracha. So Sorcha means light and bright, and Duracha means darkness. And so, if you know her, she's definitely both of those things. But we're all both of those things, and as we're going into Samhain now, as we're going into the darker half, as we're actually experiencing autumn. This is autumn. A bit strange, isn't it? I'm getting a bit of feedback up here, a bit tinny. Are you getting that off the monitor? I don't know. Where's my very sound man? Yeah, it's just from the, if I could get that monitor maybe turned down a little bit, that'd be great. But yeah, it's kind of interesting that we're heading into that dark time and it's been so bright and lovely and rainy. Let's blame the Dagda for that one, yeah? The Dagda's harp is supposed to keep it all bright and keep it, easily going through seasons, but we keep an eye out for when he doesn't quite get the melody right, which is like right now. Here, Dagda, what's going on? Come on. So today I'm going to attempt to keep your attention for an entire epic, right? A whole narrative, a whole story. And stories are kind of like very good friends. You might have met them before in a different cloak, a different guise. You might have a relationship with this friend. And I'm going to introduce you to a very good friend of mine. And it's an old story I've been telling for a long time. And I suppose it might be a friend of yours too. And that's lovely. And it'll be, well, very much dressed up in new, beautiful robes with Caoimhín and Ciarú here, giving them a whole new, decadent attire. So that's going to be great. So the story I'm going to tell you, it's about Lou. And it starts off with a battle. Of course, it starts with a battle. The second battle of Moy Chura. There were 7 long years we're waiting for this battle to be fought between the Fuimura and the Tuatha. These Tuatha, they would wait for the day that they would face the Fomorian fight. And everyone that was eager, everyone that was willing, everyone that could bring something to the fight, well, they gathered together. And so they had Bamba and Fola and Eru. They had Maka there too. The Dagda, he was there for sure. Nuada, the silver arm, of course. The leader of the king, the one who would bring these weapons, these blades, the fighting factions together. And these were the Tuatha, the people of Danu, people of the goddess of the land. These people who could know which way they could turn and transform themselves. They might become birds, they might become swans or deer, they might run off into the forests, they might change and not fight at all. And so it was an attempt to gather them for 7 long years to face the Fomorians, to fight from afar with Balor of the Evil Eye, the greatest nemesis. But this story is not about that battle. It's about the preparation and the darkness that went on after this fight. You see, Cian was the cowherd of the Tuatha. And all around the year, the Celtic year, they would know when to sow, when to harvest, when to grow, and when to party after those harvest festivals. And that hunger gap, that little gap between when all the last year's growth and the stores ran out in the summertime, in June and July, that's when the hunger gap was. And then the harvests came in August and September, and you could have the festivals again. You could have the great banquet halls, and the festivities would go wild, music and stories. And in this time, Cian of the Tuatha, the cowherd, well, he was telling a story, like I'll tell to you, about how he was once the proud owner of the glass gowan, the magical cow that forever gave milk. Because when you were in that hunger gap, didn't you need the cow? We all need the sustenance from the milk, the chewy milk, the hard milk, the things that came from the cow, the ever-giving glass gowan. And this magical cow was brilliant. But Cian looked everyone in the eye as he was telling that tale, as he forsakenly lost that glass gowan against the Balor of the Evil Eye. But he played the long game. He played the game of revenge, you see. He dressed up in a dress and went off and got off with Balor's daughter. Oh, it's a whole other story. There's kids present, so I can't go into it. But all you need to know is it was a great time they had a great time. Cian and Ethlyn up in Tory Island. And he was telling everyone how he dressed himself in a dress, and there was women all around, and he saw Ethlyn, and they had a magical night together. And it wasn't long after her belly swole and Cian ran off home, of course. And she gave birth to who? Lugh. It was Lugh she gave birth to. Lugh, the Celtic sun deity, the god of the sun. And we see him shining behind Bridget's cloak today. And he's there all right, sending heat in waves. And he was there. He came to Tara, the Eildonach, the master of all. In his skill he was shown, he caught it quickly. Any trick, any agile obstacle he was met with, he overcame it with skill and with grace. Any question he asked, he remembered the answer always. He was the Savaldonach, the Eildonach, the master of all, and he then came to the place where they were gathering. He saw they were in need, but he didn't know what to give them exactly. And so he asked the questions. What can you do? What can you do? What can you do? And in that he found out how they might be able to stand up against the undefeatable force of the Fomorian fight, with Balor of the evil eye, who could open one giant eye and burn Ireland. But Lugh, the Savaldonach, he knew how to orchestrate this fight. And he sent out his wisest and his best. He sent men and women to the north, the west, the east and south, to gather all of those who could fight and face the Fuimura. And his father, he went off to the north, and they gathered all together in the plains of Moitura, and a terrible fight was had. A terrible, ferocious fight was had, all right. But this is not the tale of that fight. Although many lost their lives, and the Daughter kept on playing, it kept on inspiring those with how to fight and how to grieve the lost, how to shed and heal from the night before, and how to give it all and give courageously everything they had to give the following day. And the Daughter's heart did play over and over and over, and they won that day. They won the battle against the Fomorian army as Balor came to destroy Ireland and take what was not his. Lugh Lawfada, he threw that stone far and high and wide into the open eye of Balor, who fell down dead. But when he turned around, he saw no one that was his father. And they wanted to celebrate Nua had lost his life. The king now was being asked to be him. And so he said, I'll lead the people, but only if I have my father next to me. Cian the coward who I just told you about. And so Lugh, they gathered to celebrate this brilliant victory. And he looked around and he didn't see his father anywhere in the halls. He didn't see him, and he went out wondering where he was. And he walked around the roads looking for his father, as everyone had gathered now, and they were celebrating the fact they had done so great. They were celebrating the fight after living and surviving. They were grieving for their lost and loved ones that had died that day, but Lugh was on a mission now. He was out to find where his father was. He was following his feet. He was watching his walk as he came to a great pile of stones, and these stones called out to him for the deed that had been done. These stones called to him and told him the sons of Tiran had killed his father. They had stoned him to death, they said, because of animosity from long times before. The sons of Candelit and the sons of Tiran had a battle and a feud, and they come banging their heads together that day, and Cian was outnumbered 3-1, 3 sons against him, and he couldn't fight, he couldn't face it. He tried to run and turn and shape-shift into the shape of a wild boar, and that wild boar ran around once more until it was caught in the sharp teeth of the sons of Tiran. They had transformed into hounds, you see. They could all magically shape-shift in between all of the animals, creatures of this land. And when they tore and they ripped him back down to the land underneath hawthorn trees, he begged in human voice to be brought back into his own form, you see. He was asked to be returned to once more the way he was born. Cian of the cowherds, the two-headed animal. And when he was brought back, he laughed. He said, "The price you'll pay for killing me this day will be so grave and grievous, you'll never survive the task to pay the Eric the fine for killing me. If you'd have just killed me as a pig, you'd have been grand. But no. Any weapon that would be used to kill Cian, he infused in the land, and the land retained, the land held on, and this was the story the land told to Lou, and he listened through the stones. The land echoed and told him softly. He listened to the sound of the land, the heartbeat that was in his hand. And he knew what he had to do. There was light and darkness in Lou, as there is in every one of you. And so he wanted revenge, but he wanted control. He was the king after all. He couldn't just slay them, he couldn't just kill them, but he wanted to. And so he had to do something in between. He had to control that flame, that fire, that burn so hot and so grievously, that desire.
Она долго разговаривала с кем? Где мама?
As he came back then, and he talked, and he saw all of them gathered then, and he said, "What would you do? What would you do?" Sorry, he was probably more northern. "What would you do? What would you do to the man who have killed your father?" And they all looked, they said, "No. I would pull off their arms, pull off their heads, and rip them limb from limb, and throw them into the fire," they said. "What would you do to the man who's killed your father? What would you do?" And he was looking at Brian, Iker, and Ichabod, the 3 sons of Tiran who he knew had killed his father, and they were begging for blood too. Kill them, rip off their head, burn them, lock them, chop them. Burn them, lock them, chop them. What would you do? What would you do? Because all I'd ask, he said, all I'd ask for is a simple fine. 3 apples, a spear, pigskin, maybe 7 other pigs, 2 horses, a chariot, a cooking spit, a whelp of a hound, and 3 shouts from a hill. That's all I'd ask for. That's all I'd ask for. Now, the sons of Tyrone, and by the way, this is where we move from it being a lovely concentration not being had on your part, not having to pay attention to the story at all, to where if you're going to commit to the story, you really have to pay attention now, like. You're in it or you're not, like. You know, you're just going to lose track altogether of this narrative if you don't hold on to this next bit. And in fairness, the lads are doing an amazing job already, aren't they? They're class, they're great. Yeah, give them a run, bud. Jazz hands. And you see, you're the 4th member of this story. Because stories can't be stories unless you take part in it. So I might actually genuinely need help with this story later on. There's a load of details and I'm going to forget it. Okay, so Brian, Iker, and Ichabod, 3 sons of Tyrone. They knew they were going to get blamed for the death of Cian, Lou's father. And so they huddled up and they said, all right, lads. Look at me. We got cut. We're on stage. Yeah. Okay, cool, yeah. All right, here, lads, what are we going to do? We're going to get the blame anyway, right? So, you know what? If it's just 3 apples, they're grand. We'll pay a fine, because, like, it's grand, and, you know, they're going to get blamed anyway, all right, okay, Lou, what we're going to do is we'll pay your fine because it's grand. I'll get you 3 apples and what was it? Yeah, it's grand. Look, someone else is paying attention to that. We'll sort it out, no bother. We're going to get the blame anyway, so yeah, grand, no bother. Lou said, interesting. Because now that you've accepted this, you've accepted the Eric, this fine, there's a few details I have to tell you. The details of these artifacts are very precious. They're off in the other world. These 3 apples I will only accept, well, more northern, right? I will only accept the 3 apples from Hesperides, the garden at the end of the world. I will only accept the skin of the pig from Tuus, the king of Greece, and I will only accept the magical spear that is the king of Persia, Caesar. And I will only accept the 2 chariots, 2 horses that run from the king of Sicily. And I will only accept the whelp of the pup from the king of Norway, the cooking spit from the fair-haired woman under sea, the island under wave, and the 3 shouts from a hill as the shouts from Meadon Hill. Each one of these artifacts that he named were magical artifacts from the other world that gave the owner, the one who wielded them, supernatural abilities, but they were guarded and they were treasures of the other world. And so Brian, Iker, and Ichabod, they looked at each other and they said, are we going to do this? Are we going to do this? Are you in for the story, like? Because this is a big one, like. Okay, are you ready? And they said, all right, you know what? We're strapping in, we're going to do it. They went to their father and Tyrone said, ask Lou for a favour. Ask him for Aenber, the horse that can run over waves as easily as he can run over land. Ask him for this favour. He will not grant it. He wants you to die, clearly. So, he's under a gesh to never refuse a second request. So ask him for Scoobtina, the wave sweeper, the magical boat that can bring you to wherever you want to go with one breath. Breathe it in. On the exhale, you will arrive. And so, this is exactly how they went. They went to Lou and they asked him for the favour. And of course, he said no. He said, jog on. And they said, we will. And they went and asked him for a second thing. Scoobtina, he asked for. Damn it. All right, you can have Scoobtina, the wave sweeper. But I want those special artifacts. The magical Eric, that price that you must pay for the death of my father, Cian. I'll keep repeating that plot point a few times just in case no one listened. Okay. And so on to Scoobtina they go. asked them, Scoop Dinner, to bring them off the island of Hesperide, the garden, the end of the world. These golden apples, they were so magical. They would heal any sickness, any wound, and they would keep you fed for a whole night and a day. And they would be regrown. These magical apples were all you'd ever need to eat, and they keep you healthy and wise and sustained all your live long life. And so when they came to the island, they saw beautiful trees, golden apples growing out of them, and women walking around with tall staffs. And these women were the guardians of the apples. The guardians, they stood there, and they had the look of a woman you wouldn't want to cross, you know, the look of a woman you wouldn't want to mess with. And so Brian, Icker and Ichabod, they looked at each other and said, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Brian, well, he hit them with his hazel rod, and they became birds, falcons that dove up into the air, and they were swimming and flying through the air so fast they went into the clouds, hovered above, and saw those golden apples. And at that right point, they dove down with stretching claws, talons, wings spraying, flying wide, catching these 3 apples and diving back into the air. As the women there, they shrieked and they cried, and with their hazel rods, they changed themselves, and they became griffins then, spouting fire and burning and trying to catch the falcons as they hunted and waved and moved through the air, being chased, snapping claws, teeth so close to them they were nearly eaten then, until they dove down into the waves once more. They became swans, changing shape once more. They became the beautiful swans that you'll see out there. And they left the waves wash against the shore, and they saw those griffins chasing around still in the air. No track nor trace of them had been found, and the griffins smoke, fire, burn. These 3 swans, they looked at their 3 golden apples. They had completed the first of many tasks, and so they got back into Scoop Dinner. And they said, where to next? Where is next? Oh yes, the next place, you have to get the skin of the pig from Tuas, the king of Greece. Greece? Who's Greece? And so they went, and they weren't quite so sure what they were going to do. They said, what do we do? What do we do? This guy has a magical spear that would kill anyone if they left it out from underneath cooling, calm herbs in a bath. It was left and kept all on its own, because anyone to leave it up into the air would be destroyed then and there, for the magic of this spear could kill anyone that it left. And so they didn't know where to get this spear. They came up with a plan. They said, lads, okay, here's what we're gonna do, right? Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna dress up like poets. Poets? Yeah? We're warriors, we're gonna dress up as poets, and we're gonna be welcomed as poets. Nothing could possibly go wrong here, alright? Now bring in a nigger, we're like, geez lads, we're not poets. We don't know any poems, like. Bring was like, nah, don't worry about it, it's grand. We're gonna nail it, right? We'll be entertained, we'll ask to see the spear, and it'll be grand. Don't worry about it. So, well, as you can imagine, they were left on in, and the music was flowing, and they were given the beautiful olives, and there was lots of olive oil and lovely, delicious Greek food, and it was fantastic, until the king said, we are guests here now. We have Irish poets. You will give us your Irish poem. Go ahead. Bring in Nick and looked and went, what are you going to do now? So it was a less warm reply that he got. Can you believe it? It was very bad. It was also old Irish so I didn't want to translate that particular poem, but that was the gist of it, okay? That was the gist of it. It wasn't very good. And eventually they said, I'm kind of struggling to understand what's going on. Do you want to see the spear? Is that what you want? He said, yeah. Okay, oh no, wait. I knew it. Pigskin first. Sorry, I messed up. My bad. Okay, we're in Greece and it's the pigskin first, okay? My mistake. I was just making sure you're paying attention. It's the spear in the next island, okay? Don't worry, we will get through this. Okay, so he asked to see the pigskin. They wanted to see the pigskin, and the guy said, you're not going to get the pigskin for that poem. That was a really bad poem. Like a really bad poem. I can't express how bad it was. And, well, Brian said, what about if you pay me in gold enough that would fit in the pigskin? I just want to see where the pigskin is, basically. And you can kind of imagine what happened next. Well, as soon as the pigskin was there, he got the golden apple and he pumped it through the air. He hit the king of Greece with the apple, knocking his head off his shoulders. His brains were on the ground. Gory. And so he grabbed the pigskin and he wrapped it around himself because someone threw a javelin right into his leg, but this pigskin would heal any wound that it would touch. And so as soon as the wound that was so awful came in contact with that pigskin, it was healed. And then they fought. They fought so furiously and so fast. They kept on going, and every wound and every injury they had, the pigskin did its thing. And they kept on going until they got back to Scoop Dinner. And that's when they asked him where to go next. And this was the time they went to Persia. The great spear was there, and Brian said, the poem thing worked so well, we'll just do it again. And Brian Nickelberg said, it really didn't go that well, but okay, fine, sure, why not? But they went on their way, and this is what they did that day. They came to Persia, and the king there, they were welcomed in because they were, after all, poets from Ireland. And everyone gives them a good, warm welcome. And so when it came around once more time for them to give a poem, go ahead. Roses are red, and I like your bread. And the thing that we'd like for this here poem is also the thing that you want to give for the poem, which is your spirit. Can we have your magic spirit, please? Work on the poems, dude. Seriously, I thought you were working on it. Seriously, do you want to work on the poems? He was writing them in a poem, everything. It was just, he just couldn't use writing afterwards. Terrible. So anyway, you asked to see the spear at least. The king of Persia was not very much impressed. But they were brought into a place where there was a beautiful, ornate bathtub with healing, cool herbs. And this spear was wrapped in so many layers of ointment to keep it from poisoning anyone. And the king said, there's your spear, Brian, and Iker and Ichabod, the sons of Sharon. That's all you get to see. And once more, the great apple came thrown out once more. It hit the king in the head then, and he threw the spear right out from the water. And when that spear came in contact with the air, it went mental altogether. All the lads had to do was pick up there. All the lads had to do was stand behind the spear, and suddenly the spear was doing the fighting for them, because the fighting was just all around them. The spear was simply killing and gnashing and clawing and chopping and people down, and all they had to do was be on the right side of the spear as the men were coming over to them. They were ducking and they were diving and they were jumping around left and right and up and down, and everyone going all around, and suddenly they were able to find a way to carve their way out of the way of the place that they found themselves in, which was the whole mess they got themselves into in the first place. And they got back to school dinner, and there they said, okay, we've got 3 artifacts. We've got the pigskin. We're eating apples for days. They got no pizza either. Don't worry for those of you who missed out on the pizza. There's apples for all. There's loads of apples. And so they had the pigskin to heal them for any wound they would get. And now they had the magical spear. They were thinking, this is brilliant. This is epic. Everyone's going to remember our name for the great story we are going to be pertained and part of. This is fantastic. This is epic. Where to next? on, don't get carried away. What next? What? Fuck's sake. The king of Sicily. The king of Sicily had two magical horses, you see. These horses could run over the waves as easily as they could run over the field. But this time the lad said, we're not doing the poet thing again. Didn't work the first time. Didn't work the second time. We're not doing it. Brian had been really working on his poems, but he said, okay. We're warriors. We'll just do the warrior thing. So, that's what they did. They entered into the service then of the king. They became warriors. And they fought in fights. And they fought many battles. And they were showing how great and how fierce and how noble they were on the battlefield. All they wanted to do was see those two magical horses. And they were there for like 3 months. And then they began to get annoyed because they hadn't seen the horses. And so instead of asking the king of Sicily to see the horses, they just decided, you know what? I'm going to pull a strap. We're going to go. They're pissed off. We're going to go. Typical. No music. No. Stop. We're leaving. It's done. We're annoyed. They threw a big huff and they made everyone know that they were very annoyed and said, we're leaving now. We're making a big deal out of it. I don't know if you know this, but we're a big deal. Very annoyed. We're very annoyed. And the king came over and said, what is wrong with you? I mean, I'm not going to do an Italian accent. That'd be very, very bad, wouldn't it? What's the matter, huh? I said I wasn't going to do it. And anyway, he said, well, if you wanted to see my horses, you could have just asked, huh? I said, okay, no more voice. And the lads were like, well, we can't just ask for things. We're Irish. We're not straightforward with language. We just tend to beat around the bush a lot. And expect people to understand what we want. Is that not the way you communicate in Europe? Apparently it's not. So, as soon as he heard he wanted to see the horses, well, he let out the beautiful horses. And there they were, running so beautifully, and so fast, and so free. And these horses were running as if they were running through the air. They couldn't really believe the foot falling on them was even from mammals that lived in this world. They looked otherworldly with the froth falling from the horse's mouth. And in that moment, Brian leapt just as the horses came careering around the corner. He leapt onto the chariot. He dashed the head of the charioteer off a rock. He stole the horses from the king of Sicily. And when Brian and Iker, the two brothers left behind, they had to fight their way back with spear, with pigskin in hand, all the way back to Scoobdinner. And now you can imagine how they looked, the three sons of Tyrone, one of them up on the horses' backs, riding over the waves, watching his brothers in Scoobdinner all across the world they did go. They got to the place, keep that going, that's lovely. They got now to the lovely land where the king of the golden pillars. The king of the golden pillars had 7 famous swine. These swine could be killed and the following morning they'd be whole again after everyone had feasted on them. And so he was famous all across the other world where people would come and they would feast, and they could feast all night and they would be merry and they could make that feast last a whole year with those same swine. Never ending, always giving. And so this was what they were here for. And when they got there, the king said, these swine you're looking for. I might have heard of you, coming from all across the world, killing everybody. Are you the Irish lads who are trying to kill everybody? He said, yeah, no, we are, yeah. So he agreed to give them the 7 swine, because we have to pick this place up because the next actor on soon enough. And we were not even nearly there. So he gave them those 7 swine. He said, I can help you out with the king of the coal hunting country. He's 7, he has, his daughter has married mine. And so, sorry, my daughter has married him. And so, you know, it's a familial bond. I'll put a good word, and the whelp of a pup that can chase any monster, any being down in the world, this hound will be yours. I'm sure he'll give it to you just as I've given you these 7 swine. And so they went now with the 7 swine and the spear and the pigskin and the 3 apples. They went to the king of the coal country, but the king of the coal country said no. He would only face a fight. So, Brian had to do a terribly difficult thing then. He promised Dober, the king of the golden pillars, he would not kill his son-in-law. And so he fought all the way up through the hill, knocking men down all around him then. He fought until he came to the king of the cold country. He caught him around the neck and dragged him back, battling and killing and hacking us all the way around until he got down to the coast once more. He said, see, he didn't kill him. Didn't kill him. Wanted to. Really wanted to. Didn't kill him. So, the king of the coal country eventually gave in and gave him the whelp of the pup. And this was where they thought they were on the pig's back of winning Mecca. They were nearly done. They only had to get a cooking spit and 3 shouts from a hill. And then Lou, he glanced in and across the water, his sun shining off this lake. He'd see it there. He looked into a pail of water and he saw how well the sons of Tyrone were doing. And he played them a song of forgetfulness so that they would forget the last tasks. And they would feel homesick. And they would long for the cold breeze to come off the wind and to see the trees change in colour, and the green land surrounded by those who were happy sometimes and sad lots of times. And so he wished for them to feel homesickness. And when he put that spell into the air, 3 of them forgot. They forgot the last. They only felt for home. Sadness on them. They weren't quite sure why they felt that sadness on them, but it was the spell who had given to them. And when they came into the hall of the king, and their sister was there too, and they offered up the 3 apples and the pigskin, the magical spear from Persia, the 2 horses from Sicily, and the whelp of a pup from the king of Norway, and the 7 swine from the king of the golden pillars. Lou asked, where's the cooking spit? Where were the 3 shouts from the hill of Miacon? Knowing well he was within his right to kill the sons of Tyrone there and then. And this is where I have to ask you for a bit of cooperation. So we have 2 more tasks. One is a cooking spit, which we'll kind of breeze through. And the last is the shout. It's an epic, mythical roar. And we kind of have to rehearse it once before we do it all together, because I can't do it. The lads are doing great, but we need a little bit of roaring from you. So when I say "and they roared," you're going to give a belt of a roar, right? Yeah? Okay, so we can have a bit of a rehearsal now. And they roared. All right, I'm hearing the kids going wild for it. Yeah, well done, kids. If you have a big person next to you, you can kick them. All right, you're allowed to kick them. Yeah. Okay, we'll go one more time. Okay, and they roared. Yeah, it's still about a 6.5. All right, if I'm looking at you. All right, so they realized they had 2 more things to do. We're gonna have to pick it up now, so we'll play this one a little bit faster. Okay, so they had 2 more things to do, and they asked Scoop to bring them to the island of fair-haired women. And when they got into the middle of the ocean, the vastness was all around them. They couldn't see anything, any land, no sight, no sound of anyone, anywhere. And they spent 7 months there, all around, swimming and swirling in around a cloudless sky above them, a bottomless sea below, and they didn't know which way to go. And so eventually, he knew that something magical from the other world let him breathe underwater. He goes down, 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 so deeply he goes. He went so deep down in the depths of the water below. He came to the land under waves, where the sky is water above, the land is dark, slippery, seaweed. And so he saw the island, the land of fair-haired women. They all had very fair hair. It was the land of fair women, I guess. He was amazed by how fair their hair was. It was all very fair. Anyway, he saw the cooking spit, and he just said, fuck it. And he went running for it. He went running in the middle of all these fair-haired, beautiful women, and he was going for it. He didn't know which way to go. He wasn't sure whether he managed to survive it, but he was going to go for it. He was going to jump for it. He was grabbing it. And then suddenly, they all laughed at him. They said, pet, look at you. We could have killed you any moment we wanted to. But look, you tried hard, so you can have your cooking spit. Go on, you're a bit of a right. You! And so, he swam way back up after getting the blessing of the women from the fair-haired land. You! It's what we all need. We need a bit of a blessing from the fair-haired women. They only had one more thing to do. And they knew what it was. They didn't know how hard it was going to be, you see. You see, they had 3 shouts to give. 3 shouts in the hill of Maida. Now there was a prophecy in Maida would never allow anyone to shout from his hill. His 3 sons, they had known the day would come when they would fight against 3 great factions of the Irishmen. The 2 of them died come one day, they would have to fight them or give in to the shouts on his hill. But when they saw the top of that hill, they went for it. The fight was furious, fast and agile. With no magic, no spear, no pigskin to heal them. They were hurting and they were falling. They were falling and they were hurting and they were wounded, but they were fighting still. Brother and brother, they were pulling each other up on top of that hill as the sons of Maida. They were fighting and keeping them from going. 1 was down, then 2 was down, then 3 were down. It was fast and it was laborious.
brothers up on top of that hill. He had to carry them, limping now as he was, blood-soaked, perspiration now going, everything now, his mindset was to get to the top of that hill. And for one last shout, he would have to bring them all up to shout one last time. 3 shouts he'd have to get from his brothers, but he didn't know if they had the strength in them to last for this shout. And so he knew he had to give them a reason to shout. And so this is what he told them. He said, remember all of the things you have loved and longed for and lived for and roar for me now. And they roared. And I was one, he said, I was one. All right, that wasn't so bad. But that's only 1 out of 3, you see. Now you have to remember all of the things you never get to do, all the things you wanted to and hoped for, and you won't get to because you might die before you do it. And so hold on to those dreams and let them go. And know you have a shout inside you for everything you didn't get to do, and you won't either. And so with that, they breathe it in and they roar. That was 2, he said, but there's 1 more going now, you see.
You see, we got 1 more. That's 2, but 1 more now we have to do, you see, because it's 3. It always comes in 3s, you know this. You have to know this by now. And so for everything, for all the things you've loved, for all the things you've lost, for all the things you won't get to do, for all of the love lost and the healing you won't have, give yourself a roar. Give yourself 1 last, for nothing, for no reason, for the pointlessness of even breathing. Give yourself 1 last roar, and they roar! Great. Fucking yes, we did it. Fantastic. Well done, lads. We survived it. Amazing. That's not brilliant. That was brilliant. We're done. A mission accomplished. We're able to do it, he said. And so they climbed back down. And they were walking down. They were just pulling themselves back into the scoop. They had done it after all. All of you have done this. All of you have made this. All of you have been here to make this happen. And so he brought his brothers back. He brought his brothers back to Ireland after finally completing the task. With bare breath in their lungs, he looked at Lou and he said, you know, the one thing you can do is give my brothers and me the pigskin. Heal us now, for the Eric has been paid. We have given our lives for this task. We have taken from you and hurt you dearly, but we have paid the price for it. Now let our suffering go and heal us with that pigskin. And Lou looked at them, and he knew that those that will be remembered for always, they're the stories that we hold on to. Those that live in the stars and the lips of storytellers until the end of time. These are the great heroes of our cosmology. And Lou, the light and bright and darkness within him, knew what to do to let them live eternally. He said, no, it's a better story if you die. And so the sons of Tyrion breathed their last, and they exhaled on the grass and the shore, and they breathed no more. Colin Neil Margaret, thank you all very much for joining in, for listening in, and for taking part in that story. My name is Aaron. I'm one half of Candelit Tales. We have Kiru on my left and Queeveen on my right. And it really helps the guys out if you have a little look on their old Instaface or Face, Twitter or Tweedledum, whatever it is, and give them a like. Yeah, Kiru, Queeveen from Candelit Tales. And thank you very, very much.